grateful to have Kris Burke on with us. Super cool podcast. Intel with Podcast is the name of it. Kris, we appreciate you taking the time to talk about this Maui disaster, the cover up, everything else that's going on right now. You're retired military. You're a busy dad. You're a husband. You're taking kids. Your wife's deployed. You're super busy. You could be doing a million things right now outside of trying to uncover what's going on in Maui. If you could, first of all, tell us why you got into this and how you have become pretty much one of the biggest experts on what we said here on Cancel This was some sort of cover-up. Nothing made sense with this Maui situation from the very first day we reported on it and we said it on this show. Stay tuned. Something weird is going on.
People watch the news all the time and they believe whatever people say. My thing is I always ask questions. I was an entrepreneur for over 13 years, I owned 3 businesses. I didn't get to where I was by just saying, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. I ask questions. I want to understand things. And a lot of people, they're misconstrued. And especially with social media, there's a lot of hearsay. And somebody says something one time, and because somebody posted it, they automatically want to believe this person because they have an X amount of followers, or they pay the $15 a month for the check mark and they have 300 followers. So I got involved in this really just based out of something screamed to me that this was an obvious attack. This was something done that I personally feel, which is my opinion, that I personally feel, which was done by the government. And now being out of the military, I'm kind of a free bird in the sense that I can kind of talk about whatever I want and say whatever I want without having to worry about PR coming down my throat. Now, I grew up in Arizona for 16 years. I've got Polynesian tattoos all over me. I have a full sleeve. I've got a leg piece. I've got a back piece. I grew up with Chamorros, which are from Guam. I have friends that are from Chuuk. I grew up with Pacific Islanders, Hawaiians. My wife was in Hawaii for 4 years. For me, it's the nicest culture I've ever met and I've ever come across. They welcome you with open arms, very family orientated. And the thing is what happens with news is something will pop up, it'll grab attention for a month, and then whatever is the next flavor comes on. You know, first you had you had like the UFOs coming through, then you had the train derailments, and then you've got like now they talked about it, I think last month, about mid this month, they're going to do certain mask mandates. They want to push the boosters, and then the Maui thing happened, and something's going to come up and it's going to shift this aside. And that's what I hate about it is because it pops up and it's popular for 30 days and it goes away. They have like a 12-mile ban around Lahaina. No one's allowed in. People can't go to their homes. They get arrested if they try to cross in there. They have a wall built up. You can't fly drones. They control the airspace.
Who's going in there right now, Kris?
Mm-hmm. What's that?
Who's going in there? Who's allowed in that 12-mile zone?
FEMA, government. You've got, I think, some military personnel that's going in there. You've got Red Cross. You know, they just now, I have a video that I'm going to release tomorrow morning. They are releasing this like kind of like this spray that they're going to put down. It's almost like a glue. And when you look it up, it says in small quantities, it is very low toxicity rate, but they're going to be releasing this into the ocean. So it's going to be a massive quantity of this acetate that is highly toxic in large quantities.
Why are they releasing this? Oh, I'm sorry.
So
Kris.
No. So what they're trying to do is they're going to be spraying this like over the ash and the debris to help contain this stuff. And they said it wasn't going to hurt like marine life. It's biodegradable, all this other stuff. So, you know, the people of Maui that I have spoken to personally, I get tons of messages. I get tons of emails. I had to create a Google Voice just to be able to communicate with all these people. And they are saying that they would much rather have ash go into the ocean than this toxic acetate glue to go in there. And Japan in Fukushima, they're just releasing stuff, I think maybe a week or 2 weeks ago. They're releasing the stuff from the nuclear plant. Yeah. I want to say from like 2011, they're releasing that stuff into the ocean also in large quantities.
That was a big story recently. Yep.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, Kris, I'm curious. There's so much to get into with the Maui situation. We could talk to you for an hour. We don't have that much time. Can we go back to the day when the fire started and start right off the bat when you can talk about power being shut off for 6 hours before? What the hell happened?
Yes. So I also want to touch base too for your listeners. In no way, shape, or form, fashion am I claiming any type of credit for this stuff. I'm simply being a platform for these people. I'm sticking up for them and giving them a voice. After this, in an hour and a half now, I have a podcast with a survivor who was the last person out of Lahaina, almost died. He had no help, no police, no firefighter, no nothing. These people are the locals that are sending me stuff to be able to be a voice for them. So when that happened, my youngest son, he has a occupational therapist, feeding specialist, the whole nine. He has Down syndrome. He's got special needs. And the lady that comes, her daughter was in Lahaina when this was happening. So 3:00 in the morning, she's texting her mom, power's out. She showed me all these text messages, showed me pictures. 3:00 in the morning, the power was out. They had to evacuate. Nobody could go back in. They had to leave their passports in the hotel because they evacuated everybody so quick. And the last thing you're going to think about is little things to take with you. The power was definitely shut off well before this fire happened. And then, of course, HECO comes out and they announce that they de-energize the lines. Now, de-energizing lines doesn't take 6 hours. But they can when they de-energize them, they can always turn them back on pretty quickly. So the power was definitely out. And then Governor Green tried to say like it sounded like a bomb went off because maybe that was like a transformer or something. Who knows? But power was off. The winds that supposedly hit that island, everybody is saying it's the hurricane winds. Now, my thing, anything that I post, I do tons of research on before I post it because I'm not just one of those people that's going to make a post to try to get likes. So the hurricane was 500 to 800 miles south from Lahaina and the island of Hawaii in general. Hurricane winds, even at a category 4, category 5, travel as high as 300 to maybe 350 miles away. And so if this is 500 to 800 miles away, you're not going to get these 30, 40 mile an hour winds. So that hurricane thing is debunked. That the hurricane winds did not cause any of that stuff over there.
And we didn't think so either. When this all came out, exactly what you're saying is similar to what we were saying. So if the hurricane didn't cause that, why are they lying? Why are they lying?
So there's I'm still kind of like cautious about like what I can and can't say, I guess, just because of being in the military. But
it's all your perspective, Kris, because you've become whether you wanted to be or not. You've become a voice for people of Maui.
Yes, and I've talked to some locals as well, going over all this literally all day, and some are saying that sometimes the winds that come over the mountains are pretty gnarly. Even some of them were saying there's no way this was like hurricane winds, like a drift of a hurricane wind. I don't know. I'm not like, going to put on my tinfoil hat and go down the route of like, oh, there's some type of like weapon that caused the winds or whatever the case may be. I can't say like I don't know why they're lying, but I know why they are because they're just trying to cover everything up. But the thing is, like, where we are now as like a world and society is technology is a thing. And, it's very easy for people to Google things and look things up. But the number one thing, to go back to you, Lizzie, is that if somebody wants to ask a question as to why this happened, or like, well, if it was the winds, why is it going to happen if the hurricane is 500 to 800 miles away? The moment you ask a question, you don't just go along with things, you're a conspiracy theorist. And it's like, that's the thing is like, why can't people ask why? And that's the thing. I don't know why they're lying about this. I know that Lahaina, Maui in general, they had like an AI conference, like solar conference earlier this year in January.
Yeah, they did in January.
And then so Governor Green allowed them to come to the table with developments. So pretty much like the blueprints as to what they're going to do, how they're going to do it. Now to fast forward a little bit, 3 weeks before the fire happened, they hired 60 plus insurance agents just for that area alone. So why are you hiring 60 plus agents for that area alone 3 weeks ahead of time? Now, the insurance companies, they are using what is called zone infraction as a way to not pay these people. There are tons of videos online that anybody can go look across Instagram. I don't have TikTok. I don't do that. I just do Instagram. Whoops. And it's all over the place. People send me this stuff, and locals have been getting denied insurance. The guy that coming on tonight, see if I can pull a message from him really fast. So this is what he has sent me. He said that he has had to fly to another state because they are refusing to give him assistance. He said FEMA has to come out and do an inspection to even do anything. He said, I can't even go to my property. They're giving me zero assistance, and they will not let people onto Front Street. And he sent me 5 videos. This is it's crazy to me that that this just screams like such a land grab with everything going on, because Bill Gates and Microsoft, they have land out there. They're trying to come in and to obviously take over more. Now, in the center of Maui, they have solar panels. The guy that put the bid on those solar panels actually reached out to me and messaged me and said, good job. That is correct, because I'm the one that put the bid on that. So wow, that just goes to show you there.
There's so much to get into. We're talking with Kris Burke, Intel with podcast. That's Intel_within_podcast. Kris has a Hawaiian connection. He saw what happened. He started reaching out. He started putting videos all over the place, and then people started contacting him, residents in Maui. And what do you know? Before long, he's got more information than anybody else.